Right, I'm going to propose a question in this video today. What do you think is the best artifact sets in Genshin Impact? Now, this is something that's been up for debate for a while now, and I thought it'd be the best idea to try and discuss it again today. If you didn't know, I did record a video like this in the past, but this is when my channel was new, and it's only sitting on about 30 views, so I'm gonna rehash it and make a better updated version today, so that more people could find out what is the best artifact sets you should farm in Genshin. Now, if you do enjoy this little discussion, you always feel free to subscribe. Only 3.5% of people watch my videos are subscribed, and if you're new to the channel, we do daily Genshin Impact guides, discussions, and anything in between. So let's get right into it. So generally speaking, most of the end game artifacts in Genshin are actually really good, and they can be used on most characters. Now, that being said, we are going to discuss the best artifact sets in this video, and we're going to go for a compromise between damage and even some support artifacts in there that would be very good to run on a team. Now, I'm going to go right through the support artifacts that I think are the best, and this is not in any order right now, but we're going to talk about the first one. Obviously, is Maiden Beloved. Maiden Beloved is a very easy to get artifact set because you can get it in the same domain as other artifacts that we're going to talk about in a second. Now, Maiden's Beloved, if you're running a healing character, it's probably your go-to set. You can run a 2-piece, or you can run a 4-piece. I run a 4-piece on a Barbara, for example, because she's all about the healing, and it just makes your numbers even bigger. But there isn't too much to explain about this set, apart from the fact that maybe you should go for a healing bonus circlet if you care about healing that much. But it's a nice little thing to farm if you're farming another artifact set. Now, if you have an Anemo character, I've only got the Traveler, but if you have maybe a Jean, Zhao, you can run a 2-piece set on, or even a Venti, you should run a 4-piece Viridescent Vanera set. Now, what this does is it increases your swirl damage, sure, but it decreases the opponent's elemental resistance. So, for example, if you put ice on an enemy, and then you did a swirl, the next ice attack you do will do 40% more damage because their resistance is down by 40%. Generally speaking, this is I wouldn't say it's underrated because you can run it on, because most people know about it, but when people are building supports, they generally tend to forget about this set, in my honest opinions, because of some other sets that we're going to show off as well, such as the 4-piece Noblesse Supply set. Now, you can farm 4-piece Noblesse set in Leeway, and I recommend putting one 4-piece set on your team. Now, generally speaking, I run it on a Zing show because I don't really have any other supports that I use. However, you can run it on a Bennett. Now, the reason why you want to run a 4-piece on your team is because it increases your attack by 20% when they use their burst. Now, you only want to keep one because obviously it says this effect cannot stack. However, though, the 2-piece is good on most characters in the game. You can't go wrong with putting a 2-piece Noblesse set on your teammates, and that's a really cool thing. It's the fact that it makes team building a lot easier in the game, and genuinely, you just can't go wrong with having a 2-piece Noblesse set on any character. Now, of course, there's some honorable mentions here, such as with my Ningguang, you can use a Retracing Belide set. Retracing Belide used to be an OG way when the game came out of doing some big damage. Before we had things such as Heart of Depth, some people genuinely ran 4-piece Retracing Belide on the characters like Child, because of the fact that you got an extra 40% normal and charge attack damage if you had a shield applied to that character. Now, what that would mean is you could put a shield, let's say you put a Noelle, you put a shield down, you switch to Child, he gets that additional attack bonus, which was a really good way of getting damage at the time, because the best other set you had was Gladiator's Finale. Now, the other thing that I'm going to talk about as well is the 4-piece Archaic Petra set. Now, I don't see a lot of people run 4-piece Archaic Petra because it's a bit confusing. Now, if you, let's say, I don't know,
really be off work this early?
let's say it again. Let's say you have a Garnu, you inflict Cryo onto the enemy. You switch to Noelle, for example, you do a Crystallize reaction, which drops an Ice, which drops a Cryo Crystallized reaction, the drop, You pick it up, and then the character, so any character that you switch to will have an extra 33% to your damage bonus. So this cryo damage would go up to maybe 88% because you get plus 35 from it. Now, Obviously that's a really good way of just getting additional damage without having to do too much, because if you're farming any Geo characters, you're going to have some Archaic Petrol sets lying around anyways, especially if you're building a character like Ningguang as a DPS, or even a Zhongli. Now, those are most of the support sets in the game. There are some honourable mentions though, and I'm going to like open up my artifact sets to show you some of these honourable mentions. So, you can run Wanderer's Troop for the Elemental Mastery, or if you're using a bow, that's also fine. Generally speaking as well, you can use things like Thunder Soother and what's the fire one called? Lava Walker if you're running a Pyro Catalyst. However, you might as well run the like Thundering Fury set or the Crimson Witch set. But this is a good way of getting some extra damage as well. So that's just another fun way if you're using a Catalyst, because you're always going to be doing electro damage. There is also some 4-star sets that we can talk about as well. Of course, I have a lot of artifacts, wow. But there's other sets such as oh yes, Bloodstain. We'll talk about Bloodstain in a second as well. That's an okay set as well for maybe characters like Razor. There is also Gambler. Gambler is really good as a 2-piece because it increases your skill damage. And 4-piece is a pretty okay effect. Gets a good mid-game artifact. You can use Exile and Scholar. They're good for energy recharge support characters if you like to do that. Martial Artist is also useful. Defender's Will is great for a character like Noelle, or maybe even Xinyan if you want to do her as a support. Then there's also Braveheart, and I don't know if I have any Resolution of Sojourner pieces, but you can use Resolution of Sojourner as well to get an extra 18% attack, like Gladiator's Finale. Now, that being said, we're going to get into the DPS artifact sets that you should build, and generally, it's pretty simple. If you want Cryo, you use Blizzard Strayer. If you want Electro, use Thundering Fury. If you want Hydro, use Heart of Depth. And if you want Pyro, use Crimson Witcher Flames. These are the best DPS artifact sets in the game. It's made for those elements. And things such as Heart of Depth, it works great on Child. Thundering Fury is great as a reaction, it's great as a general reaction build. It also is really good for a character like Fischl or Lisa as well, because it decreases your elemental skill cooldown, which is very nice. Pyro is good as well for just increasing your overall damage by doing reactions. So if you had a Hu Tao with a Xingqiu, you'll be doing a lot with that Crimson Witch set. And Blizzard Strayer is great for increasing your crit rate, which makes Garnu even stronger than she already is. Now, I don't know if I've missed any other artifact sets in the game, but I'm going to check anyways in the archive, because I don't want to miss anything, I'll be honest. Of course we have the 3-star sets, and then we can talk about some of the worst sets in the game now. These, no, just don't use these unless they have some unless it's a god roll. No, don't bother. You can't even get them in 5-star anyways. Yeah, I've covered I've covered all of these. Oh yeah, Bloodstained Chivalry is good for physical damage dealers, maybe like Xinyan or Razor, but in general, it's okay. It's okay. But Berserker is also good early game, but terrible artifacts, Tiny Miracle, Traveling Doctor, Lucky Dog, and Adventurer, just don't use. Especially don't use it late game. If you're early game and just trying to get some okay artifacts, it's okay to use this, but if you're starting to get to mid to late game, you're starting to get 4-star artifacts, I wouldn't recommend putting these above a Resolution of Sojourner, for example. It's just not really worth it. But yeah, that's basically what are the best artifact sets in Genshin Impact. If you do enjoy it, feel free to sub. Let me know in the comment down below. What do you think is the best artifact sets? Because there's a lot of artifacts aren't always the main contributors to making a strong team, but they can really buff your team's numbers if you get them right. So thank you guys for watching it. Take care, and I'll see you guys